Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I hopped on very spontaneously to do this video because I stumbled upon another hashtag here on YouTube or on TarotTube actually, which I thought would be very fun to do and would fit perfectly as well in the introduction week here on my channel, where I talk about the channel, what the channel is all about, what you can expect in terms of videos and topics on here, as well as I did the TarotTubers A to Z VR, where I talk a little bit about myself so that you, know who you are listening to when you watch my videos and who sits behind the camera. And this one is quite similar to the Tarot Tubers A to Z in terms of, yeah, in terms of getting to know the person who does all those videos and who sits behind the camera and their path and, their beliefs and how they came to their spiritual path and tarot. And this one is the hashtag Tarot Tribe tag by We Love and Crystals, Tarot Vibe Oracle, and Tarot Magician. Um, and what a perfect tag or VR that I do right now to fit into the introduction week for this channel. So let's start right into it. I noticed right now that I forgot to do the lights. So now that's better. All right, so the first question, how did you get into tarot or oracle? Well, for me, I always was a very spiritual interested, a very supernatural interested person. I always believed that there is something more than just our physical world that we can, um, that we are able to see and interact with. And that's because since I was a kid, I was fascinated about all those different things, witchcraft, um, yeah, divination, pendulums, and all that stuff. And I always believed in ghosts and spirits and angels and stuff. And so since it was like since primary school actually, and then and as a kid, I always loved to read books as well. So I spent a lot of time in bookstores and stuff. And there I stumbled upon a book which actually dealt with witchcraft and the different things there are out there you can play with or you can practice with. Um, and I was, oh my gosh, to my mom actually, there's a book about witchcraft and it's not a fantasy book, it is real. So I'm right, there is magic out there and I wanted that book. And I got it, I read it, and there was also a chapter about tarot and card readings. And I was fascinated about the tarot cards. They had something very special and very witchy and supernatural to me when I was a kid. And that was the first time that I saw tarot cards and I wanted to read with those. Um, at that time, I already did pendulum and stuff and worked with crystals. So tarot felt very magical and I wanted to integrate that into my practice. Um, which is very strange, isn't it? Like, I don't know, a 10-year-old kid, but this is me. So, yeah, that was the first time I got introduced into tarot. Then what really started me to work with tarot and to really do it and not just wanted to do it was in a time where I had love and relationship problems. And I stumbled upon a YouTube channel, a German card reader that does YouTube videos, free readings as well, and watched those free readings to get a message or to get advice. And it was, and they fitted almost every time, and it really helped me. And because I watched a lot of those at that time, I got to know or get introduced into the Lenormand system, and I learned it because I watched those videos. And then my first deck was the a Lenormand deck. Um, and then after watching the Truth in Story walkthrough videos, I really saw that tarot wasn't that complicated or difficult to learn. And I finally made a decision to try tarot out as well, and it worked. So that's the short story um, of my tarot and oracle journey and how I got introduced to those kinds. So the second question is, are you drawn to oracle or tarot more and why? That's a really difficult question. I love all of those systems equally, I think. And that's because for me, those three systems in specifically, so Tarot, Lenormand, and the more free flowing oracles, um, have all a different kind of energy, a different way to deliver messages and to look at a problem or a question. So that's why I also do or love to combine Lenormand Tarot and one or two oracle decks into a reading for one question because they all have a different take and they come from a different viewpoint. So I love all of those systems and I love to combine them actually because they bring something different to the table each. And I love how they interact with each other and how they um, complete actually a reading with those different energies. So for me, all of those, I love both equally. Number three, if you could create your own deck, what would it be, tarot or oracle? And that's actually oracle, at least for now. I already did one oracle deck for myself and got it printed because I wanted to do some um, more naughty readings on my German channel as well about sex and sex fantasies and stuff, and there isn't a lot out there. I know you could actually read with a normal tarot deck on there as well, and I sometimes do that. It works, even on that topic. If you if you have your system or your meanings for each of the cards ready. But I wanted to have something specific, something that is more wide ranged around this topic. So I created my own Lenormand deck, Oracle deck, which is all around sex fantasies, what your partner feels or finds attractive about you, what happens in the bedroom, so to speak. And they're all black and white images except for one or two, which I left in color because they work for me more in color. So that's that. And I'm already working right now on a crystal oracle. Um, where I take photos of my crystals in my crystal collection to create those cards. This is the layout for the card. So here a normal photo of crystals or one crystal, and then in the back a close-up look at the crystal. And then I wanted to add the title, so what a crystal is that you can look like, some keywords, and some astrological and chakra associations as well. Um, so this, for example, is labradorite, this is moonstone, and this is what are they called in English? This is some kind of calcite, like that, where you can look through it and then it's like the text is doubled. Um, Icelandic spar, something like that. I can't think of the English name for that crystal. And the reason why I'm doing this is because there are a lot of crystal decks out there. But if you have worked with crystals for 15 years or something like that, you already have your own system in place, your own feelings about the crystals and their healing abilities, as well as your own astrological associations and chakra associations. And in the crystal decks that are out there, there are some that work for me and others that don't. And then there are missing crystals that I want to have in my deck, and others that I don't, or others that how they are depicted in that deck, I'm not really it just doesn't work for me as much. So I wanted to create my own crystal deck so that I can work with those crystals that I want to work with, and they're depicted in the way that I see them. And yeah, so that's the reason for that. Why I don't create a tarot deck at the moment is just because I'm intimidated to do so. Because for my oracles, I had a use in mind. I had a missing gap that I wanted to fill, or that I just felt like is right doing, and I was inspired to do those, and had a vision in mind how they would look like and what I wanted to do with that oracle. With a tarot deck, firstly, there are a lot of cards, and second, it's like there is an own system and a historical meaning for each of the cards, and I find it quite difficult to um yeah, I find it quite intimidating and difficult to get it right, or to do it justice to the do the tarot system justice. So that's why at the moment it's oracle decks for me, but it could change at some point. So, number 4, your first tarot or oracle deck you got and you learned with. So for me, this is a quick one. This is the classic Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck that I learned with, actually. So my base meanings and the base where I come from is the Rider-Waite-Smith system, but I evolved from that and put in there also some numerological meanings as well, or just free flow with the image and add something to those basic Rider-Waite-Smith meanings when it feels right. So number 5, your recent tarot, oracle, and crystal. Why were they calling you? So my recent, or the last tarot deck that I got was the Whispering Spirits tarot deck by Joanna Nelson. Um, And why this was calling to me was just the there's something about her art that really touches my soul, that really touches my inner self and my inner child. And I feel this deck, this deck was actually the first deck that really touches my inner child and that I could connect with my inner child as well. There are a lot of cute decks out there and some light-hearted tarot decks out there, but they all didn't really had it to really get in tune with my personal inner child and with my inner self. And this one actually does. I don't know what it is about her art style, but it really, when I got it and flipped through the cards, it really, really touched me. Not just my inner child, but my soul, actually. And I'm really excited to work with this. This is still in order because I hadn't really time to work with this. And yeah, but I think at the end of this month, or at least next month, this will be my working deck because I really wanted to know and work with this deck. I love this. And what was funny about this was actually I talked about a lot with my inner child, and that this touches my inner child and helped me to get in tune with it. There was a card doubled in here, and it was funny enough the Six of Cups, which is the nostalgia, the past card, but also the child card, so to speak, to see the world with childlike eyes or a childlike view. And this card was doubled in here. I think it was a mistake. I don't think that this was intentional. Um, but it really made this deck special as well. And what a coincidence that the Six of Cup was the double card in there. So this was the recent or the latest tarot deck that I got. For the latest Oracle deck that I got, it is the Inner Compass Oracle by Heather Hopes. And what was drawn to, or what was drawing to me or draw me into this deck or to this deck was actually I saw this on Boho Tarot's channel. Um, and I love that there are a smaller size, like a Lenormand size, actually. I love the cardstock and the matte finish. I love the backs. I love the title and the theme with the compass, inner compass oracle that really drew me. And it's a very colorful deck, but it is collage art style. And normally I'm not drawn to collage work, but there's something about this deck that I really loved when I saw it. And actually, what made me buy it was, or convinced to finally order it, was that I have a feeling that this would work perfectly with my Enchanted Tarot, which is also a collage deck. And these two, for me, I had that feeling when I saw this deck, they just need to be together. So I ordered this one as my latest Oracle deck. And the latest crystals that I bought are actually these two, what you see here. Um, so this is a piece of Moldavite. I already talked about this in my latest crystal reflection video on my channel, where I talk about the experience that I had with working with the crystals for an entire month. Um, And I was drawn to getting a piece of Moldavite because right now I'm more on a star cosmosy like feel and trip. And Moldavite is has to do with stars and meteorites coming down to Earth because that's where this actually gets created. And it was really just screaming to me to get one piece of Moldavite. And actually, I have a quite, um, not a very huge crystal collection, but it really is a big enough crystal collection, I would say. But I hadn't any meteorite or stuff like that. So this is the first one that I got. And while I was watching for a Moldavite piece on the internet, I stumbled upon this beauty. And I was so drawn to the photo of this sphere that I couldn't resist. I bought this as well. And this is actually Petersite, a Petersite sphere, which is not the a really high quality Petersite piece because there's a lot of those browns and just a very few blue and reds in here. But it has the pattern on it just spoke to me, and I love looking at it. It's really something special. So these are my most recent crystals that I bought. So, number 6, share a tip with someone learning tarot for the first time. Um, right off the bat, I just would say don't get too overwhelmed or intimidated by the tarot system and by how many cards there are. I mean, 78 cards to learn is really not just done in 2 minutes. And when you see all the books that are coming out or are out there about tarot, you already have not just the 78 cards, but per card 10, 20, 30 pages of meaning. So it could be really intimidating. But when you're at the beginning, you don't need to know all the stuff or all the interpretations and symbology and historical backgrounds and whatever about each of the cards. It is too much and it really confuses you. So just trust yourself, trust your intuition, don't get too overwhelmed or intimidated by it. It is really easy actually to just start off with some basic keywords and the image that you see on the card. So that is the tip that I would give to a beginner. So, number 7, the first tarot tuber you followed. And this was actually, and I talked about her earlier in this video, The Truth in Story. So Kelly from The Truth in Story, I stumbled upon her channel because I was looking for a tarot deck to, the first tarot deck after the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, to really dive into the tarot and to really have a good guidebook to learn tarot actually, because the book that came with the Rider-Waite-Smith was a disaster for me. I couldn't connect with the meanings. It was not really fitting. I couldn't understand where they came from. And it was really confusing because there were a lot of different meanings for one card, and they didn't quite explain how they got there or how the image of the card fits into that meaning and stuff like that. So I looked for different tarot decks on YouTube and I stumbled upon her walkthroughs. And since then, I'm still subscribed to her channel and I love watching her videos. And I learned that tarot isn't that complicated and that everyone can read it if they want to. So I really love her channel and her videos. Next, number 8. What was life before tarot or the holistic path for you? Where did you come from? So, as I talked about in question number 1 already, I was very spiritual interested and divination and supernatural interested since I was a kid, since about 8, 9, 10 years old, about primary school. And so for me, my life was always spiritual. So I believed in angels. That's why they are standing right here. I also collected and worked and studied crystals since primary school. That's why I have now a quite good collection of crystals and knowledge around crystals. And the first divination or witchy tool that I worked with also since primary school, I think, was the pendulum. So my path was always witchy, I guess. And I didn't grow up with a very strict religion based stuff or something like that. Of course, you have um, your religion in school that you need to go to, and you have your traditions with Christmas and stuff, with Jesus is born and that stuff, but it wasn't, that is the only belief that um, we accept, and all the other stuff is bad. Because my mom is actually really open to all that spiritual and supernatural stuff as well. Like, she's also believing in angels and has her own belief about what happens when we die and believes in ghosts and that stuff. So, yeah, I hadn't really deep breakthrough. I mean, my beliefs changed as I grew up. I don't believe as much about the typical Christian related angels. I believe there is some kind of that out there, but not, it's different than the typical angels that we see when we talk about angels. And yeah, so it changes, it evolves, but it was always very spiritual, I guess. Okay, number 9, favorite go-to spread. So since I come from Lenormand and the first deck or the first system that I read with was the Lenormand system, I where you lay out a 9 card, a 3 card, a grand tableau. I also do this with my tarot cards. I don't have fixed spreads with fixed positions. I just lay out 3 cards or 9 cards or 4 cards, how many that I feel would fit, and then just go with this and look how the cards are interacting with each other. And that works really well for me. The only spread that I actually do is my deck interview spread, which I have right here to get to know my decks. And this is actually one that I created myself. So the first position is describe yourself. So that's where the deck describes itself. The second position is its gift. The third position is its limits. The fourth position is the type of readings that it um, fits really well into. The fifth position is expectations from me. So, what the deck is expecting from me as a reader, so that we can work in the perfect way together. And then I draw the card on the bottom of the deck after I've done shuffling. And this is the underlying energy of the deck. So, number 10, most anticipated deck of 2020, and number 11 is your tarot wish list. So I put them together for the most anticipated deck of 2020. I put one out that isn't already out there, that is still in development and comes out in the midst of this year, I think. And for the tarot wish list, I just went with what, yeah, I have a huge tarot and oracle wish list. So I just went with a few of those. So the one that isn't out, well, right now, but will be in this year is the Dark Wood Tarot. I'm really interested in it, and I'm really excited to see all the images and the tarot deck. And um, so that's that. I'm not quite sure if I really am liking this when I see the whole tarot deck, because that's all I saw. But it's really beautiful until now. So let's see. So on my tarot wish list, these are just a few. This is the Marble Moon Tarot. I love those lime green edges. It is a little bit of more whimsical, but also quite modern. So I love that. Then, of course, the Spacious Tarot. I love this deck. I love the images that I saw on their Instagram, on tarot shops, and I really wanted this deck. It really feels like I could connect with this really well, and it also connects with my soul. So I'm really excited to get this one. Then the This My Third Tarot, another modern deck, which I quite like. And the Way Home Tarot, I guess. Oh my gosh, I forgot how this is called. I hope this is right. I really feel like this would go really, really well with the Wild Unknown Archetypes cards, or the Wild Unknown Animal Spirits. I have both of her oracles, both of the Wild Unknown oracles, and I really love her art style and can connect with them and work with them. But her tarot, it's beautiful, but it's not really drawing me into it. But I feel like this will, and I feel like this would go really well with the Wild Unknown oracles. So these are just a few. I have a big wish list, and it grows even bigger and bigger. So if I would show you all of the decks on my wish list, we would be here until tomorrow. So number 12, what were your impressions or fears about tarot? So as I already said, I was really fascinated when I first saw tarot cards, and I found them really magical and special and witchy, and I really wanted to work with those. So that was my first impressions. And fears, I didn't have fears because I already was very interested in spiritual stuff, and I wasn't very religious or Christian or anything. So that's that. Number 13. Um, would you like to start reading tarot, and if no, what is stopping you from it? Well, I do read tarot, so this is more for the beginners. Um, what was stopping me actually from it, because at the first time that I would try to read tarot with my Rider-Waite-Smith was the book, because it was very confusing. I didn't trust myself enough. I felt like I wasn't good enough, or I hadn't the gift or the talent to read cards. And yeah, I was really intimidated by it. And it really overwhelmed me. So I stopped. It just didn't work. I didn't get a real answer to any of those questions. And then for my second attempt, I already yeah, because of the truth and story videos and walkthroughs, I recognize that it isn't as complicated and it's actually quite easy to start and to have your base meanings for the cards and involve or develop further meanings from there. So, and then it worked. So, number 14, have you ever gotten a reading from another reader and what were your feelings towards it? I haven't gotten a reading from another reader until now. Maybe at some point I feel like I'm drawn to getting a reading, and there are beautiful tarot readers out there who do readings that I really wanted to um, read for me at some point. But for now, I don't feel drawn to it, or I don't feel really the need to have one. Okay, number 15. What kind of vibes do you like to feel when you get a reading? Um, I would like to feel that the reader takes my problems and myself seriously, um, and really tries to understand where I come from and the question and the problem that I have and really feels with me, but also gives me a clear and direct answer and not a nice washing blah from, yeah, it's already perfect and you are perfect and don't forget to love yourself and love is everything and stuff. So I mean that just doesn't give me anything. Okay, number 16, tag the next tarot tuber. So I just tag everyone who watches this, everyone who feels inspired to do this. I'm not feeling, it just doesn't feel right to me to call out one. So everyone who is inspired to doing this, who has the possibility and ability to do this, who wants to do this, who watches this, feel free to do and participate in the hashtag Tarot Tribe tag by We Love and Crystals, Tarot Web Oracle, and Tarot Magician. So this was it. I hope you enjoyed it. So this was actually the one of the last videos in my introduction week. So we had the video where I talked about my channel, about Crystal Spirit, the channel that we are on right now, about my plans, about the videos that are coming up, the channel program. And then we had the Tarot Tubers A to Z, where I talked about myself, the person behind the camera, the person that you listen to, and then we have this one where I go even further about my spiritual journey, so to speak. And then we will have another one where I actually did an introduction video where I talk about a mistake that I made with tarot readings, and which led actually to doing my tarot personalities, getting to know my tarot decks video series that is coming up on my channel. So to understand, I mean, you don't have to watch that, but it quite helps to understand where I came from and where I got inspired to do this series. And this is it for the introduction video, for the introduction week for this channel then. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you to, yeah, get to know this channel, to get to know myself a little bit more, to decide if you like to take a part on this journey with me. And I hope I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you to all of you who already did. It really makes me happy and means very much to me. So until next time, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.